So, anyone been watching gold and silver prices lately? Silver is down to around $14.29. Silver's around, gold's around 1079 or so. So the club has been pushing. Boy, have they been pushing on gold and silver. And as I see this, I say to myself, man, that damn Webbot report has been on fire lately with the accurate predictions. And one of those final predictions is silver, precious metals, namely silver, exploding in price upwards. And the initial data says around the end of November. So we're at, you know, best case scenario, a week to 2 weeks. Worst case scenario, you know, add a week to that. You know, maybe the first week of December, just, you know, just because the Webbot always says, give me a few days, plus or minus, when we do a prediction. Well, Cliff says that because it's the nature of the beast. But my point is, it is hard to believe. I'll be the first to say it. It is hard to believe, seeing the action in price downward lately with gold and silver, lately as in the last week, that all of a sudden there's going to be a big price jump in silver, and again, mere weeks away. But it only takes some little event from left field or what have you, and it may seem like it's coming from left field to you and I. Oh, what just happened today? But the club may already know about it, whatever it may be, if there even is anything. And it only takes one little thing to reverse the course on silver. You saw it in 2011. It ran through $18 to $40 to $50 so fast, it made a lot of people's heads spins. Let a lot of people's heads spin. So, what could it possibly be? Or is there going to be anything that makes the price of silver rise? Or, you know, not even or, but simply because maybe the Webbot gets it wrong this time. Again, I got to look back at the history of the Webbot. Very recent history, as a matter of fact. And it's gotten 4 out of those 5 things right. This final one is just the prices, is only just, you know, nothing attached to it, just the price of silver rising. And noticeably rising. I always thought to myself, why doesn't Russia or China put the United States on notice, the club really, not the United States, but the club, who's running the United States, on notice? The Achilles heel of the club, which are bankers, is real money, gold and silver. And we all know that COMEX market, CME Group, does not, under any circumstances, have the gold and silver that they purport they have on their little COT report every day. Think about this. It was only a couple years ago, I think, 2 to 3 years ago, that COT report came out like it always does, and shows the registered amount of silver in all these different vaults, from JP Morgan to Brinks and Nova Scotia, and eligible, registered. And then all of a sudden, a little notice got attached to the bottom of the report going forward, and has been there ever since. And it says something like, you know, we believe, you know, this report is based on information believed to be, like, truthful, something like that, you know, maybe not in those words, believed to be accurate. We take no responsibility if it isn't accurate. It's a little disclaimer. That's a funny disclaimer. The information we get that we're publishing in our report is believed to be true, but if it's not, you can't hold us, you know, you must hold harmless us or whatever. Like, what? That tells you right there it's a fraud. The numbers that they show you is even a fraud. But if Russia and China wanted to send the club a message, as much gold and silver as they're buying directly from manufacturers, the producers, and then they melt it down, of course, into the bars, and then they buy it. So they're going like to the source. If they really want to send a message to the club, take a couple $2 billion and buy gold, take another couple $2 billion and buy silver, both off the COMEX market directly. Notify the CME group. We got $2 billion here for gold and $2 billion for silver. We would like to get it off your market, since you claim you have so much, and your report that you believe to be is accurate. You want to talk about a shot across the bow? That wouldn't even be a shot across the bow. Just asking for it would be the shot across the bow. Giving up the money and then saying, yes, now give it to us, would be more than a shot across the bow. That would be checkmate. So it makes you wonder why some use a proxy even, right? Just like we've done with our bond buying. Oh, Belgium bought, how many billions of dollars worth of U.S. treasuries recently, and they don't even have enough money to do that. It was used as a proxy. Somebody used the whatever system in Belgium to buy these, U.S. treasuries. So, big deal. So Russia and China just use a proxy, whether that's a company or whatever have you, to do your bidding, so to speak, for you. Put them on notice by buying gold and silver off the COMEX. Now, I would never recommend that to one of my subscribers. Number one, well, you could get a mini futures contract, which is 1,000 ounces of silver. So you'd have to come up with the full amount of money, which would be 1,000 ounces times 14.29, so $14,029, and you can have 1,000 ounces. And then you'd put your order through, and they'd have to get with one of their Brinks or whoever handles it and ship it to you. However they deal with it, you do that. But they usually use Brinks or one of those guys. I'd rather go buy some nice coins, because you're going to probably end up potentially getting which I'm not, I can tell you the truth, I'm not sure what they actually send you. Is it 10 100 ounce bars, or do they send you a giant 1,000 ounce bar? I don't know. And who the hell would want a 1,000 ounce bar sitting in their safe? What, are you going to slice that up and, like bread, and hand it out when you need to sell it? Pieces of it? No. That's why you and we go to the coin dealers, like JM Bullion or whoever you use. But the club wouldn't expect something like this from China or Russia. And if China and Russia did it, they don't care that it's the 1,000 ounce bar or whatever they got. It wouldn't matter, because it wouldn't be for that purpose. Oh, we're going to buy some precious metals to store. It would really be to put the club on notice. And then we'd see the club scrambling to come up with that gold and silver. So that would be excellent if we saw like a news article in the next week or two, breaking news, which it wouldn't be breaking news according to the media. They wouldn't even talk about it, but the rest of us would see it and call it breaking news. Russia and or China has decided to make a very large, sizable purchase on the COMEX market through the CME group. And then promptly thereafter, the CME group, breaking news, has been attacked by cyber attackers, or terrorists have physically attacked the CME group, bombed this, blew up that, and they can no longer make good on their delivery to Russia and China, so they'll be promptly refunding them. Problem is, I don't see Russia or China doing that. They've got their sources that they've been using this whole time, so they want to continue using those sources for their gold and silver. But again, if they really wanted to send a message, that's how it needs to be sent. And it needs to be a country that's got that kind of money in their back pocket, not someone or some hedge fund or someone else that stands to lose it because they can't produce it. Of course, they should just refund the money, obviously, and no harm, no foul at that point. But the club, the club would love to take that money in and not give it back, and find some reason not to give it back. But again, I can't figure out or even think of a reason of why silver, if someone was to press me without me ever reading that Webbot report or any of the Webbot reports, and just right now knowing everything else I know and have studied, minus the Webbot report, if someone was to come to me right now and say, "What, Joe, I need you to come up with the best reason ever of why silver should maybe go really take a big jump high and move significantly higher here in the next month, 3 weeks, whatever." I don't know what I could come up with. Except a terrorist attack on the CME group, which is located in Chicago. Or even a hacking attack on the same group, CME group, who is the Commodity Mercantile Exchange, and cause them, who are the ones who set the price of gold and silver every day through their market, that's how it's set. If that happened, their market can no longer be used to set the price of gold and silver, which means some other entity has to pop up somewhere to set the price, or the real true market's going to kick in and set the price, which is the real people, you and I, and everybody else actually trading it for what we're asking for, not what this group has been telling us the price is on a daily basis based on hundreds of thousands of these paper contracts that have no underlying physical gold or silver to back them, just pure fiat contracts, if you will, made and created by the bankers, and whenever they need more because people may have been buying up those contracts and now they're not holding on to the lion's share like they used to, they just print an absolute ton more of those contracts so they get the lion's share again, and then they sell off into the market in unprecedented amounts, flushing everybody out and getting those other contracts back in their hands. Hook, line, and sinker, they do it every time. Rinse and repeat. So that literally is the only thing I could come up with if someone was to ask me today, and that's absurd. A terrorist attack or a cyber attack on the CME group, Chicago, is the best I could come up with as to how and why silver and gold would potentially start climbing significantly in price. And I'm telling myself, that's it. There's nothing else you can come up with as to why that's going to happen. Answer is no. Can't come up with it. I have nothing in front of me. If the club has been manipulating the price for all these years, decades, and gotten really crazy with it in very recent times, what could possibly stand out as stopping them from doing this? Well, let me guess. The Congress is going to pass a law to force guys like J.P. Morgan, the club J.P. Morgan, to only allow them to own a certain number of contracts known as position limits, because they finally figured out that allowing someone like J.P. Morgan to have hundreds of thousands of these contracts just wasn't actually good for the market and is potentially rigging the market. No, they already tried that through the Dodd-Frank Act, and a federally appointed by the president judge struck that section down a couple years back and said, just weeks away, by the way, from it being implemented, position limits, that the Congress did not tell us why that would affect anything, so I'm striking it down. Okay, Congress doesn't have to prove or tell why they're doing anything. If they pass a law because they're a bunch of morons, and they are a bunch of morons, and they have passed some laws based on their moronness, they became laws. But again, the club can't allow that. We can't allow position limits because we have to have the massive position in order to move the prices where we want them, which is down, and hold them in a stranglehold. So I'm going to make a sneaky little prediction here that with the prices of gold and silver where they are right now, in December being a big delivery month historically for precious metals, through the COMEX, by the way, that we're going to see a large influx of purchasing of precious metals, not just because of what happens in the COMEX every December, but because people who want precious metals see that price discount and want more. It happens every single time. It's a double-edged sword. I've explained it numerous times. They drop the price down to show you, we're going to keep this down, your investment in silver and gold sucks, and we'll just hold it here and hold it here until you give up and sell off your gold and silver. And people decide, you know what, no, I'm not going to hang on to it. Oh, as a matter of fact, the price is so cheap today, I'm going to go buy some more. Thanks for holding the price down. So that's the double-edged sword. And, well, that's part of it, really. The other part of the double-edged sword is that if they let the prices start to rise, it has a similar effect. Oh, wait, that was the low. That was the low. I need to get in now. And then there's not necessarily a panic to buy, but a influx of people wanting to buy it. And then when you have a large rise, like you saw in 2011, then there becomes a little panic to buy it. Oh my God, it's going to keep going. It's going to keep going. This is it. And then everyone floods in. That's exactly what happened. So, push the price down, people want to buy a bunch of it. Push the price up, people want to buy a bunch of it because they see it moving and they don't want to get caught buying when it's too high. Everyone doesn't want to do that. They want to time it, you know, to where I get the best deal, right? That's what we all want to do. So it's a double-edged sword when the club plays these games. I'm going to hope that the Webbot gets this one right. It's gotten 4 things in the last 2 months right. And this 5th and final one we're waiting for should be right around the corner. And if it's going to happen, boy, can I not wait to see what is this triggering event. If there even is a triggering event. Maybe the club just unleashes it for some reason, unbeknownst to us. In either case, I can't wait to see what happens. Take care.